So we're in here and I'm chatting to Miss Ruby, who runs our 2-year-old provision. Miss Ruby, can you tell us a little bit about the 2-year-old provision? How many children have you got in the 2-year-old provision?
We do have 40 children altogether. So we do have a morning session and an afternoon session. We have 2 classrooms, and in each classroom we have 10 children in the morning, 10 in each, making 20, and we have the same in the afternoon. We are at full occupancy at the moment, and we do have a waiting list.
That's a good position to be in.
Very good position. The children are doing well. We have children. I think the problem with this area at the moment is that there are quite a number of families who are moving in and out of the community. So there is quite a lot of movement in terms of children, new children starting at different times of the year compared to what it was before. But the good thing is, as soon as one leaves, there's always another to take their place. So we're always constantly full, which is a good thing. Children really benefit from what we have to offer, and I think our provision makes a lot of difference to children, not just children, but I think their families as well. Because personally, I look at the children as more than children. I see the whole family, and likewise the team, we've learned to embrace children with their families, find out where they're coming from, what their needs are, and how we can support them. Initially it was just about thinking about children. As time progressed, we've identified that it's more than that. Parents, families have great need within the community as well, so we kind of embrace all of that and try to support them as much as we can. And as a result, we do get very good recommendations because there is high levels of satisfaction. Children have done so well so far, and we can see the difference in the children who have transitioned from our 2-year-old provision into the school. We see how they're progressing, and we see how they just go into that provision and settle so quickly into activities and just continue the learning from there. I cannot recommend our service enough. It is challenging because 2-year-olds, most of our 2-year-olds have not attended any other provision prior to them starting with us. And however, with our approach to settling in the children, they do settle in fairly quickly.
Could I ask you, what are the sort of priority areas of learning in the 2-year-old? What
priorities?
So there's the curriculum that we follow?
Yes,
so
we follow the prime areas, and I believe that with the prime areas of learning, with the 7 areas of learning within the EYFS curriculum and quite a number of aspects. The prime areas kind of underpin all the areas of the learning within the EYFS, and I believe that our focus on that enables the children to progress in all the other areas as well. For instance, we do personal, social and emotional development, language and communication and physical development. The other specific areas are the mathematics and the expressive arts and understanding of the world. All those are incorporated in the prime areas of learning, and the way we deliver the curriculum ensures that even though there's not mention of number in the prime areas of learning, children are learning about number. They're learning about shapes, they're learning about sizes, they're learning about volume, they're learning mathematics, they're learning about the world within what we have to offer. We've varied the curriculum in such a way that if a child should be assessed even under the other areas of learning, which is the specific areas, they will still be at the expected norms for what it should be. So I think that I'll also give credit to my team as well, because we have a lot of experienced team members, highly qualified team members who know what they're doing. So we work in unison to ensure that no child is slipping through the nets. We do have an area of need, which is speaking, language and communication. Behavior is also another thing. However, we do work really well around behavior.
What are you doing to support language? Are you able to use the Makaton that all
we
staff
use
have
Makaton.
training in? Could you tell us a little bit about what Makaton is?
Makaton is a language, is a sign language we use to support communication. It's not just a sign language that is used in abstract, we use it with words. So the children hear the spoken word as well as they see the sign. When they come in the morning, for example, we'll greet good morning and try and make eye contact, use the words. We have our rules within the setting which children get familiar with very quickly, and they're very basic, simple rules like good listening, good looking, good waiting, and good sitting. The children get so familiar with that at story times, at group times, and some will do good walking, and they know. And when you, for instance, say good, they know there's something coming after that, and they're watching out for the sign that comes with that. And at group times, if you should not even mention the words and do good, they know. They'll say good waiting. So they're getting familiar with the Makaton as well. And we do the toileting. We try to use Makaton. And I find that there are just a little handful of children who start with Makaton, knowledge of Makaton as well. So that familiarity helps them as well. Recently we attended this training with the PECs, and after that we had a meeting to discuss a child who will benefit from that. And we came up with not following the exact same method with which we were trained, but to adopt the training and adopt our own little method to support that child. And we have been able to do that, and he's now able to make choices as to whether he wants to play with the puzzles, whether he wants to move on to play with the sand, and to make his choices known to us, and just to kind of have that freedom of being understood as well. So that has helped. We find that the majority of children have very, very little speaking language as well. So there is a lot of speaking. We do lots of singing as well, which helps with their speaking. We've all been trained, speech and language trained, and they will point to something, we'll give them a word for that which they're pointing to and encourage them to use the word. When we're reading stories, we try to encourage them to identify what is happening within the story. For example, the dog is sleeping, or that, where's the dog? Can you show me the dog? I wonder where that is. Just using open-ended questions to get them to use the limited words they have and try to extend their language by introducing new words to them, and by helping with pronunciations as well, because some of them have the language. We do not discard what they know, but try to build on what they know. So for instance, if they pronounce something that is not very clear, we won't say that's not how it's said. We'll just clarify, say, oh, biscuit. They say iki, is that biscuit? Oh, would you like a biscuit?
That repetition.
And then gradually adding new words, adjectives to the words they use and everything, and just extending it from there. And children have made progress this way.
Imagine.
Children have made so much progress. Children make so much progress, more progress in other areas of learning than in speaking, I find. However, they still make about 3 steps of progress, or 4, from baseline So that is really, really good. And we still try to look for new strategies to support not just groups of children, but individual children as well with their speaking. So,
could I ask, have you and your team done any of the international training that the school's been involved in?
we have.
And how did you find that?
We have been to, we went to Italy and looked at Reggio Emilia, their practices and how they engage children in learning. And we learned a lot, and I think something that really impacted on me being there was, I wouldn't say too much about the schools. I think it was interesting how they deliver their curriculum within the schools, but I particularly was enlightened by the museum, the Loris Malaguzzi museum we visited. I saw into what they try to portray in terms of how children think and how we as practitioners can engage children in using their ideas to create things. And if you stand back, how you can watch the thinking process of children and how they can use their imagination to break into new avenues of learning, and how children can lead in their own learning, and adults just stand back and be instruments to support and facilitate that learning. So that was really, really interesting. The level of creativity that comes out of enabling children to use their thinking ability to create things, and I took a lot from that. And there was a lot of using very little to create learning as well.
You mean the materials that children use? Less is more.
Less is more. And that was another big thing I took away from that visit with the Reggio Emilia schools. And since then, we have looked at our environment, trying to keep things a bit more neutral, trying to bring in more natural materials for children to explore with, where they can use their imagination to create objects and activities of interest. And that has impacted on the team, because I wasn't the only one who visited in my team. There were 3 of us, and we came back and we had discussions about how we can implement some of the things we saw. And I think we took something from it, and we've been able to apply some of the knowledge we brought back with us. And prior to that, we visited Sweden, and Sweden was also through a different perspective to learning and teaching as well, in terms of their outdoor learning and forest school, and how giving children opportunity to the resilience children gained from being left to explore, and what can I say, to not just explore, take risks. It was a risk taking, and I thought that was amazing, because we give children so little credit. There is so much more they can do if they're left to take their own risks, and that is something. I came back. I was the only one who went within my team, and I came back and with a different perspective as well to risk taking and kind of cascading my knowledge and my views to the staff team, that sometimes you don't just step in straight away. There are times when you just need to be that observing person and stand back and see what they're trying to achieve, and step in just at the right time, not too early and not too late. So just working out, giving children the opportunity to make some mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And that has been very, very interesting. We saw 2-year-olds go into forest school, and how they were left to take their own risks in terms of how they did their own risk assessments in terms of how they went down the stairs to go to access the forest school area. They rolled on their bellies and gradually slid down the stairs, and they were left to do that. So they made discoveries as they went along, and that is just amazing for children to be given such freedom and autonomy to be themselves. So I took a lot from that, and there are certain things, quite a number of things we cannot directly replicate in our environment here. However, there are quite a number of things we can learn from our European counterparts and try to kind of bring back into our practice. And we have taken on board some of the lovely things we saw and try to apply them as much as we can into our own practice.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
So thank you for watching this video of Nell Gwyn Nursery School. We hope you found it informative. If you'd like further information about your school, pop into our front office, or you can follow us on Twitter, or you can access our website. We hope to see you. Thank you.